books I wrote is called Treat Him Like a Dog. And it's like all the different people, things, beings in our lives that we treat better than our spouses, right? So the example with the dog was like, you know, when you want your dog to do something, you don't sit it down and say, you know, when you scratch at the door, it really hurts my feelings, and then I don't feel loved. And, you know, it's just, no, that's it. It's just simple. Here, it's clear. I don't want you to do that. Sit, stay, right? It's very, very, there's no ambiguity. There's no, like, everything isn't wrapped in feeling and emotion and here's how I'm hurt and my childhood trauma and all that. Just like, no, how about that? When your dog does something good, he's a good boy. He's such a good boy. And then he wants to do that again because he got all the belly rubs and the, you know, the ear tickles and all that. And we don't do that with our partner. So if you literally just did the, like, you're such a good, oh my gosh, you put the cup back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that so much. He was going to want to hear that again. It's like, oh, it's not going to be perfect about it. But like, again, in this whole situation, I'm not going to change that. I tried, it didn't work. It made me angry. I didn't like who I was. And then I would assign that feeling to him. It's your fault. It's your fault. You made me have to be this witch. No, I just chose to be a witch. So I'm choosing to not be a witch anymore.
So I guess we should like really get rolling just because I know you only have an hour.
Let's do it.
And I don't want to I'd love to talk to you about, you know, like cupcakes and gardening and things, but we don't.
Those are two things I'm really bad at though. I'm like the world's worst baker, literally. And I hate gardening. I love having a garden. I'm so lucky that I have a husband who gardens, but I am not a gardener.
Yeah, and me either. That's why I told you I had zucchinis and squashes that came this big last season. I can't. Yeah. I'm going to try again, but I don't know how much success I'll have. But I can bake. I've got the baking gene that I have. No.
I can cook. I can't bake.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a thing. But you know, I like both of those. If I'm in the kitchen making things appear out of nothing, I'm a happy person.
I love that. I'm not. We can talk about that.
But you have a husband. You have a husband who can do those things.
That's true.
One of the things, like, I don't even know how I came across you, honestly, but you landed in my feed somehow. And I absolutely loved your work because you're like Seinfeld. You know, it's like the Seinfeld show where they say things that everybody's thinking, but nobody wants to say. And that's why the show was such a hit, because everybody's like, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I would never say that. But you say it. You just get right out there with, you know, things that are uncomfortable, but we all feel it. Well, most of us, a lot of us feel it. And you just get out there and saying it. So I can't think of a better person to have on this show who holds tight to their principles and forges forward in life and is really, really funny in the face of it all. So it's.
Thank you. I am not short on opinions. I am not afraid to not be liked, which that is, you know, one of the blessings of age, right? Like there was a time when I did think a lot more carefully about what I was saying and who is that going to offend, and I don't have that anymore. I just don't. It's, you know, there's a song, a country song called I Love Me So You Don't Have To, that my daughter was like, when she first heard it, she's like, oh my God, Mom, this is literally you. Like, I love me so you don't have to. Like, I think I'm awesome. So I don't really need your approval.
Yeah. I've got my friends. I've got my people.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. And you have that shirt, right? I'm not for everyone.
I own that shirt. I should be wearing it. I own that shirt, but that's my banner on my site because I'm not, and that's okay.
Well,
that's okay.
And not everyone is. I don't think there's anyone who's for everyone. That's there isn't, but you're for me. So that
oh, good.
Real well in my life. So when I was researching you, and I know you have on your site that you've done a TED Talk, that you did a TED Talk, and I had never watched your TED Talk. So I did watch your TED Talk, which was hilarious. And I don't think you have to question your choice of the dress. I think it was just fine. It worked really well with the boots, by the way. It was a good. I
still have both of those, and I've done 2 TED Talks. That was my first one, I joke about the dress because it's literally a turtleneck sweater dress. I had not done public speaking before. I did not realize that when you're on a stage in front of a live audience with cameras rolling, you sweat. Like you get You get nervous, and it's not just, your hands shake a little bit. I have a quivery lip thing that I get when I'm on stage, and I've just learned to like smile through it and ignore it. And I've seen myself on camera enough times to know that nobody else sees it. But literally, when I tell you, Dee Dee, that like sweat was pooling down, and I'm just up there just feeling it. Like, okay, this is great. Like, at least it was gray, and I didn't have, huge pit rings, but it was like, yeah. Now when I do speaking, it's like sleeveless, and I don't, I'm 57 years old. I don't have great arms, but I'm like, it's okay.
These are 59-year-old arms, honey. They are what they are. I remember looking at women who were in their 60s and 70s and their arms that were not my toned 35-year-old arms at the time, thinking, oh, when I'm that age, I will never wear a short sleeve shirt like that. Guess what?
Yeah.
Wearing short sleeve shirts, don't care.
Yeah, that's part of the don't care about getting older. That's amazing. It is.
I'm comfortable. I'm going to sweat. Here's my arm. That's, there it is. Yep. Right out there for the world to see. So how did that feel, like getting over 4 million views on that marriage TED Talk of yours?
7. I think it's 7.
7 million.
Yeah. It's, it was one of those things where it made the TED homepage. The talk was about marriage. It was what you don't know about marriage. That's what the first one was. And I had recently written a book about marriage, and I am an expert. Because I'm married, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I don't have a degree in family life studies, but I am a married person for 26 years. And, I felt like I had something to say. Like you said, it was meant to be funny. It's not rocket science. It was, I was poking fun at, this whole like till death do us part. Like, oh, I didn't know it was going to take this long. Like, that's a long time, right? And so I was mostly just proud that I did it. Like, I got up and did something that was really hard. It was hard for me back then. Like, I didn't know how it would be received. I always called myself a sit-down comedian. When I did that talk, I had been writing books. I had been writing for magazines for 20 years. I knew I was funny in print. I was a sit-down comedian, though. Was I funny if I stood up? I didn't know. And so it was like my own personal challenge. And I was so proud that I did it. And then I got the email from TED that it's going on the homepage. It was on Valentine's Day. And at the time, it had a couple of thousand views. And when it hit that homepage, it was, the ticker. It was 5,000, 7,000, 12,000, 22,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I did literally the dumbest thing a human being can do. I started reading the comments.
Oh no, don't ever do that.
I didn't know. I didn't know. Even as a published author, like I never even got bad reviews on my books. If I got a bad review on my book, hand to heart, it was like, my book came with a blood stain on the spine. That was one of my 2-star reviews. And I was like, that's not really a review of the book, honey. But okay, sorry that happened from Amazon. But I started reading the reviews, and I mean, they were brutal. They were absolutely, I mean, not all of them, but all the ones that are like, this is really funny, this is great. Those don't even register on your radar.
The ones that hurt your heart. Those are the ones that you hold on to.
Hurt your heart. My 5th grader could do a better speech than this. And oh my gosh, if I had to look at her face for one more minute, I mean, they were awful. They were so awful. And I went from like the highest high, like, look at me, I'm going to get all these people seeing me, like, oh God, people don't like me, and it really, really hurt. And I crawled up into a little fetal position, and I had my little pity party. And then I say this on my Substack all the time, like, I am Pollyanna. My glass isn't half full, it's overflowing. I find the silver lining. It's just my personality. It's not, I don't work at it. It's just how I am. Like, that's just me. I am a little bit of a Pollyanna. And I was like, you know what? I did something for me that was really hard that you basement trolls will never do. And so, yeah, it's really easy to sit on your couch and armchair quarterback and, it's like the meme of the big fat guy watching the Olympics going, yeah, that was terrible. Like, really? Really? Okay, you try it. How about you try it and then post it here and send me a link and let me tell you what I genuinely think of your delivery. Like, and you just realize It doesn't matter. This is my one spin on this earth. I'm doing what I think is good and important and challenging myself. And if you don't like it, I can give you directions somewhere where you can go.
And, I'm sure that's more than 6 feet under. I'm sure.
I did. And
Way down at your core.
I had to restrain myself. I wanted to respond to these comments. And it's fast forward 15 years when, I start writing this Substack and people would write nasty things and I would pin, I still do. You see it. I pin the nasty comments. I'm like, oh, bring it. Bring it. You said that you're the one that looks bad here. I've got people here who will defend me. If you disagree with me, feel free to say so. But sometimes it's just, you're dumb. You're a rhino. You're a troll. You're a tramp. I mean, I've gotten literally the most off the wall insults where it's just yeah, so you don't like me. That's okay. I can live with that.
There are other Substacks for you. There's more. No, but one awesome thing though is that you're willing to engage with people who do disagree with you. Like you had that interview with or a debate, right? With the guy who went to the medical conference.
Yes.
What was his name?
Craig.
He was very charming. You were absolutely right. He was charming. He was personable. I liked him watching him. I didn't agree with him, but it's nice when people can come together, even when they don't agree, and have a conversation. And good on you for doing that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I think it's important. I think we can all get in our little echo chambers, and don't get me wrong. I would love it. I would love nothing more than every single person who commented telling me I'm witty and spot on and they agree with everything. You don't learn anything from that, and I do. I am a writer. I'm a writer before I'm a speaker. I'm a writer before I'm pretty much anything. That is my craft, and I work really, really hard at it. And part of when you're doing what I do is I try to poke holes in my own pieces, long before I press publish. I go into, like an actor would, I go into, okay, I'm the guy that's sitting on the couch watching Rachel Maddow all day, every day, and I'm reading this. What is the thing that I want to yell at that screen? And so I try to address that. I try to go, hey, look, here's this. I get this. This is another take, right? But here's where I'm coming from. So I try to be fair in that way. I try not to just, be 100%. Like I was fighting with a guy yesterday whose Substack name is 100% all in MAGA or something like that. Yeah. And it, it's I'm not 100% all in anything. I'm going to tell you if I think Trump does something really stupid. It's no secret. I'm a Republican, right? I'm not MAGA. I mean, well, and I shouldn't say that. I am. I feel like that has become this disparaging thing. Yeah. I don't think that's about it. Yeah. Right. No, and I think you have to be able to try to see both sides and try to see, I've had so many people, especially during the whole COVID thing when I was writing about all that people were like, F anybody who's still getting this vaccine, right? I've tried to wake people up, and if they're not awake now, they're dead to me. Right? I don't want to help you. I will never get to that point. I feel and I say this all the time too. Before COVID, I was a dutiful little rule follower. I was. Got my kid. Pollyanna, right? I mean, I got my kid, I got both of my daughters the Gardasil vaccine. I trudged my entire family down to the flu clinic every year because, why, Dee Dee? I'm not a doctor. My doctor's telling me to do this. So I really was. I was dutiful and obedient, and I did not question. And for whatever reason, day one in COVID, I was like, nope, none of this is making sense. And I need to say something. And so when people say, oh, well, if you're not as smart as me, then you're dead to me. It's we're all only as smart as we are right now. And you might learn something tomorrow that will make you even smarter, right? So there was a time when you would have written me off because I couldn't see everything that you already saw. We're all on our own little journey. We're evolving at our own pace. And I do still think you can wake people up. I see it happen all the time. So that's the little Pollyanna in me that's I want people to go, huh? I never really thought about it that way. That's important to me.
Exactly. And there are opinions people have out there that are very different than mine, but they are very different perspectives. And I will think, oh, wow, that's a good point.
Yep.
That's a really good point. Let me ponder on that one for a minute. And I think that's the way we need to do things. It's you don't write people off. You don't have to agree with them, but you don't. I have a friend whose children have not seen their grandparents since COVID because her parents-in-law got so upset with the family for choosing not to vaccinate that they completely cut them off, 100% cut them off. And I can't imagine making that kind of decision and ending a relationship with my grandchildren. It's inconceivable to me. And people
inconceivable. Yeah.
It went so crazy, and it disrupted families. It disrupted marriages. It disrupted friendships. It disrupted a lot of life. But we'll circle back. We'll come back to the whole COVID thing. So I have questions for you about COVID, okay. But I also have questions for you about marriage.
Okay, let's
cover your whole TED Talk on marriage.
Obviously, I'm an expert. I told you.
You are. You're a party of one who managed to stay married for over 20 years. So,
right?
You're way ahead of me.
Oh. My husband and I laugh about that all the time. We were talking about it the other day. He had a boys' weekend, like a bunch of his friends from high school came into town. So my daughter and I split so that they could, be smelly, loud boys. And I came home last night and we were hanging out with all of them. And I was like, there's one that's still married. Like he has one friend from like back in the day that's still married. And I have one friend from I have my high school friends and I have my college friends and my New York friends and my California friends. And we are unicorns. We really are.
You are. I mean, you are. And I have friends that are still married, but I also have more friends who aren't.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that 50% number because it doesn't hold up in my circles.
Not mine either.
Yeah. And I'm part of
I do have a
that doesn't hold up.
I mean, being our age, we like one of his friends who was here, it's his second marriage and they've been together almost as long as we have. So, like 23 years or something, we're 26. So like that counts as and they'll be together forever. I don't doubt it at all. But like from the originals, like my friend group is not batting well at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to watch. It's, even as someone, I was the first in my group to sink. And then it's funny, it's like dominoes. Like they see one go and they're like, oh, you mean I don't have to stay in this relationship?
That's actually a thing.
And it is.
Divorce is contagious. It really is.
And she told me, she said, I need you to understand if you do this, it's going to have a much bigger effect than you realize. Your friends are going to start to get divorced. And I said, Mom, and she's a psychologist. She said, no, yes. Yeah. Sure enough, I did ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. They just started, and not because of me, but when you see someone in your circle and you're having your own doubts and then somebody walks away, then you think, maybe
that's an option too. Right. And yeah. I have a comrade to go through this with, right? I don't have to go through it alone. And I have somebody paving the way and telling me, what do I do now? And, I don't know about the financial part or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, we can talk about that.
Let's talk about the good stuff though. Let's talk about the good marriage stuff.
Yeah.
The good stuff. So you've gotten a lot right because you're married and you're still married after 26 years, 26? 26 years? Gosh, that's awesome. That's a quarter of a century, more than a quarter of a century.
I know.
When people think about marriage, what do they get wrong? What
This could be a 17-hour podcast just on that alone. So after those TED Talks, I wound up doing marriage. So that one was like mostly funny. But then I got hired because people would see that at like talent agents and corporate people putting on big corporate events, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, come talk to our group about marriage." So I actually had to do a lot of the real research. The TED Talk was only like 17 minutes long or something, and I was getting up for an hour, so I had to, have some stuff. There's so many ways, and it literally starts with before you even get married. Like if you like my daughters are in their 20s, and when you ask them about marriage, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have 7 bridesmaids and we're gonna do this and we're gonna propose, and I'm gonna have a photographer there, and it's like, yeah, that's the wedding though. I'm talking about like waking up next to the same unbrushed teeth for the rest of your life, right? So it is, that's like a big thing. That's the Disney princess thing, right? Like, and I speak as a woman, mostly of women, that they think about the, the pageantry of it, and not like the day to day, like, oh, now, I have to wake up with you. Yeah, exactly. And those little things, even the little things that you think are so cute at the beginning, like, oh, he's so laid back. I love that he's so laid back. 10 years later, you're like, just pick a restaurant. How about you just pick a restaurant? Like, you can't like stop being so laid back. And I loved that about you, because I'm not laid back and you complete me and all this stuff. And it's like, so I think that's a thing for sure. What do people get wrong? Expectations, right? Like, again, this fantasy idea of this person is going to be my everything, right? They're going to be my best friend. They're going to be my workout partner. They're going to be like, one person cannot be everything for you. It's a lot of pressure on that person. You get sick of each other. There is, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Like, there's something, my husband and I joke all the time. I do a girls trip every year. And whenever I get back, I'm like, I love you so much. Like, I literally love you so much. He's like, what happened on that trip? I'm like, I just hear about everybody else's boyfriends or partners, and it's like, okay, I dodged a bullet. Like, I'm not going to lie. He's not perfect. We fight, we bicker, we get on each other's nerves, but there's nobody else I'd rather annoy for the rest of my life than him, and vice versa. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Like, there's also this, like, I've seen it with my own friends, like, oh, even in the dating, like, oh, well, he doesn't do this, or, I don't like this. I'm like, do you think that there's somebody out there that's going to check every single box you have? Like, they're not. There are no perfect people. It's loving imperfect people is what marriage is about. And guess what? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. It's like, I don't love you because of these things. I love you despite these things. And I still love you. And it's you got to work at that. You got to work at that.
And then Gen Z, because they have this whole 666 list, not a devil 666, but they want women, Gen Z women, they want 6 feet tall, 6 figures, and six-pack abs. And I'm thinking, okay, well, the 6 feet tall thing you can't really control, right? You're either are or you aren't. But the rest of it kind of comes with effort. You can't, people don't just start life making 6 figures, and those 6-pack abs, they're great when you're 16. They're just kind of there for boys that, aren't sitting in front of the TV playing video games all day. They kind of decent shape, but then you grow up and you got to work at these things, and that these girls just think that is their future. I think that's insane. So we need to take a step. My husband did very, very well in his life. I mean, he's like a multi-bazillionaire. He was not when I met him. And he did not have 6-pack abs. And he was not 6 feet tall. I failed every one of the sixes. Every one.
My husband's 6'3".
See, there you go. But other than the 6 foot tall thing, I mean, he never got 6-pack abs, but he took care of himself. He did all right. And he did very well professionally, and was able to, I was able to stay home, raise my kids, and do the things. But we had to work to that. We didn't start off in our 20s there. I think, talk about unrealistic expectations. Absolutely. I'm completely on board with you with the unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
For sure. But, so you were writing, and you were a funny writer. Then you give this TED Talk, and suddenly you have all of this marriage fame, and everybody's hiring you and wanting you to come talk to them about marriage and all of that good stuff. Did you notice a gap at that point, or at any point, between the script that life hands us and what was really, really, really going on with couples?
I don't understand the question.
See, I bought into the whole narrative, the happily ever after narrative. Like, you're going to get married and you're going to live happily ever after, and everything's going to be fine. And if it isn't, then there must be something wrong inside here.
Right.
But it can't be the culture. It can't be things that are happening externally. And you got to just kind of suck it up and go with it and deal with it. And if you didn't, that's okay. You don't have to. I mean, you can say, Dee, I didn't experience any of that. You're allowed to say that.
No, I literally feel like I've been living this and writing about it for so long. And I learned something new about marriage and my husband and my role in, the friction that we experience sometimes. If you said to me, what's one piece of advice that you think could change every marriage on the planet, I would say focus on here. Like, because you cannot change another person. You cannot change another person, period, end of story. Like, if your partner is the guy who leaves his sweaty stuff, you can nag, you can, whatever. He can try harder, but he's never going to be like you are in that way. It's never going to be, if you're like the neat freak and he's the slob, it doesn't matter to him. You matter to him. Doesn't mean you don't matter to him, but if that doesn't matter to him, you can't change that. So, but what you can do is you can change the way you react to it, which is like, I'll give you an example about how I was a horrible wife. My husband and I have this really fancy coffee pot, and you have to leave, it's a Jura. Look it up. You have to leave a cup under the. It's amazing. It was like a big, huge splurge for some big anniversary because his sister had one, and I was like, someday I'm going to have one of those, and then we finally did it. Zero regrets, and you could buy a car for what you buy this coffee pot for, somehow I became the default coffee pot maintenance person. Oh, and it is like a freaking Lamborghini. Like, it needs descaling and it has all these like things that will light up, and you have to do these things, and there's a book this thick it's a whole thing. So one of the things that is weird or temperamental about it is it looks like an espresso. Well, it is an espresso machine, but it's got the little thing where the coffee comes out of, and it's always got the beans in it, and it's always got the water, but you have to keep a cup underneath it, because if you don't, every 2 hours it like flushes itself to keep the water fresh. And so, and then it'll stop for like, if you don't use it for a while. But while we all work at home, and my daughter's living with us right now too. So it's going. So if you don't have the coffee there, it fills up the tray, and then it spills out onto the counter, and it's got grinds in it, and it gets everywhere. So it's like, just put the cup back. And he would forget literally every day when we got this thing. And I would hear it flushing, and I'd run in there and try to stick the coffee on her. So I actually put signs on it, and they're not nice. On my very, very expensive coffee machine, I have a bright pink, like, laminated thing that says, "Put the effing cup back." So you can't miss that, right? He's still 30% of the time wouldn't put the cup back. And so I would walk in there and see the cup or hear the thing, and I would yell like a horrible, horrible human, "I'll put the cup back!" Like, so passive aggressive. Like, that's not helping. And I did this for like a while. And then I mean, just like sitting there being so angry about it. And it was like, that's not helping. Right? That's not doing anything. That's not making him want to please me in any way. It's like, if, one of the books I wrote is called Treat Him Like a Dog. And it's like all the different people, things, beings in our lives that we treat better than our spouses, right? So the example with the dog was like, when you want your dog to do something, you don't sit it down and say, when you scratch at the door, it really hurts my feelings, and then I don't feel loved, and it's just no. That's it. It's just simple. Here, it's clear. I don't want you to do that. Sit, stay, right? It's very, very, there's no ambiguity. There's no, like, everything isn't wrapped in feeling and emotion, and here's how I'm hurt and my childhood trauma and all that. Just like, no. How about that? When your dog does something good, he's a good boy. He's such a good boy. And then he wants to do that again because he got all the belly rubs and the ear tickles and all that. And we don't do that with our partner. So if you literally just did the, like, you're such a good, oh my gosh, you put the cup back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that so much. He was going to want to hear that again. It's like, he's not going to be perfect about it. But like, again, in this whole situation, I'm not going to change that. I tried. It didn't work. It made me angry. I didn't like who I was. And then I would assign that feeling to him. It's your fault. It's your fault. You made me have to be this witch. No, I just chose to be a witch. So I'm choosing to not be a witch anymore. I'm choosing to my little Pollyanna, to focus on the positive. Thank you so much for putting that cup back that time. I hear it go off. I run in there. Worst case scenario, it's not going to spill over because I hear it. It's right over there, and I'm going to get it. So, yeah, we really can change our relationships just by changing ourselves.
I think that's a great point. I really do, because we get so irritated at, as you said, the little things, and we don't compliment even the little things. You know, thanks for doing that. Thanks for taking out the garbage. Thanks for putting the dishes away. Could you maybe put the dishes from the sink into the dishwasher after you put the dishes away? That would be nice.
There's always going to be that. But here, this is another. I mean, I always make myself look so horrible in these interviews, but this is true, and it's in all my books. I wrote about this, but this is a true story. My husband and I were first married. I am a neat freak. I don't know if you can tell. I am. My kids will like move one little thing just to see like how long it takes me to see it. You get off my couch. I'm karate chopping the pillows. It's just who I am. I'm a type A, and my husband wasn't. But he's super handy, and he's super self-sufficient, and not a slob, but just not my level. Okay. So he had this sandwich that he used to make. We call it the annoying sandwich because there's like 57 different things on it. And he'd be like, I'm making an annoying sandwich. Do you want one? I'm like, no, that's okay. And he would clean up every single thing, everything, like put all the condiments away, the bread back in the bread box, the whole thing. And then the last thing would be on the cutting board. He would just wipe the crumbs into the sink and then be done. And then I would come in and go, could you just, there's the hose thing, could you just spray that? Because like if you don't, then they like the crumbs petrify. And he'd be like, yeah, sorry, I'll do that. And then the next time, the annoying sandwich, I'd be like, again, just like the coffee, like, it's not that hard, let me do that for you. Like, you just finish the job, it's the last step, like you can do that. And one day we were like, I came in and I saw it, and I overreacted completely inappropriately. And he just looked at me and he goes, you think that I do that on purpose, don't you? Like, you think I forget that step on purpose? And I was like, I kind of do. And he's like, really? Jenna, like, tell me how that works out well for me. Tell me how like going about my day going, I wonder if I could piss off Jenna by doing that. Like, never, not ever is that my goal. Like, I don't have your standards. I try, and you have a lot of things. And so I do my very, very, very best to remember them all. I'm really bad at that one, and I'm sorry. And I was just like, oh my God, my poor husband. Like, who needs to hear all day, every day, let me tell you the many ways you disappoint me. Can I just tell you some things that you did today that disappointed me? Who would stick around for that? It's like, you do so many things that don't disappoint me, and I don't spend nearly as much time telling you about all the ways that you don't disappoint me, that you thrill me, that you delight me, that you make me feel cherished and loved and taken care of and respected. And like, but we humans, not just women, people in relationships, will just focus on that one. Like, this becomes symbolic of blank, right? You don't appreciate me, you don't respect me, you think I'm your, house slave, whatever you want to call it. It's like, no, I just don't care about a dirty sink. Like, I wipe off the counters because that's important to me. I'm going to put, some food on there later, or, whatever. But like, I don't care about the crumbs. And you care about the crumbs, so I should care more about them, but I don't, and I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing? What are we even doing? Like, so yeah.
I'm glad you're not leaving your husband over crumbs in the sink. That's really comforting.
I'm not leaving him over anything.
No, don't leave him. He sounds like a wonderful man.
No, he is.
Wonderful man.
He's a great man.
But you've got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Who are not married.
Not yet. Well, they're still babies. They're 21 and 23. So
right. So they're little. But someday they will probably go off and get married. And the world today, Jenna, is vastly different than it was when you and I were in our 20s and doing the whole dating, mating ritual. So what do you think about culture and today and these relationships with kids? Is it easier? Is it harder?
Oh,
I know my vote.
I feel like every generation does this, like, oh, thank God, like, that's not mine. Like, this is all they know, first of all. It's all they know, so I think they will be fine. The kids are all right. Um, Unequivocally, it's harder because they have this social media pressure and this, all these perfect, like, literally, my one daughter was saying last time she lives in California, she was home and she was talking about how, like, she can't wait for like that whole phase of her life, and she wants her engagement to be filmed. And I was like, what if your fiance doesn't want that? And she's like, well, I would never be with somebody that doesn't want that. And it's like, oh, and again, and she probably won't, because she's a lot like me and she gets what she wants, and she's very specific about that. But I worry about that. I worry right now they both have really nice boyfriends, and I feel so lucky because I look out at that world and, just going to an airport, right? And every single person just on their phone, everybody's checked out. You see the rates of, porn and, what people are doing. I've written about the schools where they, like, take the phones away, and the kids are like, at first it's horrible and we hated it. And all of a sudden they're like connecting and talking to each other at lunch. Like, I see, not in my girls, because we talk about these things and it's really important. But a lot of kids that are just checked out and, not engaged, and they're afraid to make a phone call, like literally afraid to make a phone call. No, I would just text. Like, why would you ever pick up the phone if you didn't have to? It's because you're connecting with a human being, and that's really important. So, I worry about the expectations. Frankly, I worry about so many people are vaccinated. I'm worried that they're going to be infertile. My girls are not vaccinated. So I'm happy about that. I hope that they both do want children. So I hope that there are still men out there who can produce viable sperm. That's an issue. I mean, it is.
Well, in addition to the vaccination and the microplastics and disruptors of the endocrine system, we've got all kinds of things going on in our country. Well, and around the world. I mean, it's not exclusive to America. Yeah. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's a little scary out there. I was watching, listening to a podcast recently, and Dr. Shauna, what's her last name? I forget things. It's terrible, this aging thing. I forget everything. Shauna something. I'll remember it. But she has done a lot of research on microplastics, and she has a documentary out about microplastics, and I can't think of the name of that either. It's probably up on one of my browsers, actually, but I can't see that far right now without my glasses on. But she was talking about the whole, population collapse and how, birth rates are going down, but it isn't just among humans. It's the whole animal kingdom, because these microplastics are everywhere. They get into the soil, they get into the water. They're disrupting penis sizes in alligators. Not even kidding you. Can you imagine the person who had to measure the penis of an alligator? But yeah, it's not just humans. It's across the board. So it's a scary thing, this whole birth rate decline. And then you throw in, getting inoculated with mystery substances and really messing us up. It is scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think about blood transfusions and all that kind of stuff too. It's
yeah,
makes me nervous. So now we're on to COVID. Keep going. Because I think, COVID did have quite an effect, as we said before, on people, and that, people really who are the pro-vaccine, they really thought they were living their principles and being safe and keeping everybody safe. And then you had people who were skeptical and saying, wait a minute, that's not tested. And how do we know what that's going to do to our bodies? Right. Can we just put the brakes on this for a little while till we learn a little bit more about it?
Selfish granny killer.
Oh, listen, I had friends get really mad at me. I have an allergy to flu vaccines. So I'm not taking any vaccines because I don't know what they're going to do to me. They could kill me. If I went into an infectious disease doctor and said, I want the COVID vaccine, and they would look at my chart and say, you have an allergy to flu vaccine. Absolutely not. You can't have the shot. No one would give me that shot, even if I wanted it. I didn't want it, but they wouldn't have given it to me.
I feel like they might, despite that, but okay.
They might. Some of them, disreputable places may have. My cousin, who works for an infectious disease doctor, told me that they wouldn't touch me. So that's a good thing. There's some honest ones out there in the world. But I had a friend who said, could you just get the shot and then you don't have to worry about all of these things? And this was one of my best friends. And I said, that shot could kill me. And so I'm not going to get it to make you feel better, because then I could die. And then I don't think you would feel better. That's
and also, like, I had this
not a good grade for me
with 100 friends. Like, I had a girlfriend that I used to go visit every single year, and we were going to visit her, and she knew from my social media posts that none of us were vaccinated. And, you know, she was like, we really want to see you guys, but you can't stay here, and we can meet you for dinner. And, you know, so we did the whole, like, walked in with our masks, took them off, and we're this close to each other talking, and then put them back on to stand, you know, and it was like, and at one point, you know, we're still friends, but it was really strained for a while. And before that visit, she said, can I just ask you, like, why you're not doing this? And I said, because I'm not at risk. I'm perfectly healthy. My children are perfectly healthy. There are no long-term studies. You know, just because it has this emergency use, I could give you a list of 40,000 medications that were actually properly approved and then pulled from the market. I don't trust it. Nothing about the story makes sense, and I'm not doing it. And I said, can I ask you a question? And she said, yeah. And I said, and this was back when they were telling us the virus stops with you, you know, if you are. And so I said, yeah. You're vaccinated. Why do you care if I am? I mean, I appreciate that you're just worried about me and you think that I'm going to die. But, like, if I'm not worried about that and you're protected, you know, you've got your umbrella. What do you care if I'm getting wet? I'm not going to get you wet. Like, you have your umbrella. So, and she couldn't really answer that. And then I had another friend during that same time who was, you know, posting all over social media, just got the kids vaccinated and all their Band-Aid things. And, you know, we were talking, we had, you know, lives in another state, but we would have like a phone call every few months. And she called and she said, I just have to tell you something. I'm just really worried about your girls. And I was like, I'm really worried about your girls. And then there was just this big long pause and we let it go. And so, you know, that's something that, again, I've written about many, many, many times, is, you know, there's this whole, I don't know if it's a ploy, maybe it is, you know, to divide us, right? It was the anti-vaxxers, and you had all of the media people saying they're not welcome at dinner, and, you know, the anti-vaxxers should stay home. I literally had a former colleague, like an in real life friend and colleague, write on my Facebook page when I posted something about not being vaccinated, and I quote, and I can send this to you, I hope when you get COVID, you stay home and die, and don't take a hospital bed from someone who did the right thing.
Oh, wow. I guess you're not friends anymore.
No, she blocked me right after that. But I'm like, wait, you blocked you? Wait, so let me get this straight. Because my post was, no, I'm not vaccinated. I had just started researching ivermectin for this book, The War on Ivermectin.
And I've got your book, and I forgot to bring it downstairs. We'll talk about your other book, and maybe I'll take a 20-second detour, go up and bring it back. So you have it. Do you have the other one with you? You can hold up?
This one?
That one. That's the one.
Yeah. We can talk about all that in 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, we're already there? This is why I schedule these things for 2 hours, Jenna.
We can go a little over. No, I was researching ivermectin, and, you know, the studies, there are actual studies, but the studies that the government was pointing to, they were all fraudulent. They were, you know, that's 7 chapters in my book about exactly how, but, you know, they were comparing people who were taking ivermectin with people who were taking ivermectin and showing, see, the ivermectin didn't show any benefit. They were waiting until they were 14 days into a diagnosis before giving it, and then they were giving them a third of the recommended dosage, and then, oh, it didn't work. See, it didn't reduce, you know, hospitalization or death. Like, there was so much fraud going on. And so I'm out there, like, in my little Pollyanna mind, like, I'm trying to share life-saving information. I'm literally saying, hey guys, like if you get this, here's this thing, and you wish death on me for like it was such a cult, kind of moment. And again, where I had to go, this isn't about you. What's the similarity? And the similarity is, there's my geriatric cat, one of three. The similarity is we all really wanted the same thing, right? We all really wanted to be healthy, to protect our families, to not put anybody else at risk. That's what we all wanted. We were just getting the how-to directions from totally different sources. But like, yes, you want to be healthy. I want you to be healthy. If you think that vaccine is going to do that, I don't, by the way, and I'm never going to like poo-poo that and I'm going to tell you, no, I think it's really bad. I think it's really bad, and here's why. And we can talk about VAERS, and you can talk about how correlation doesn't equal causation and all the things. But VAERS is the only system we've ever had to track.
Until it wasn't, right?
Yeah,
Everybody was all about VAERS until it started showing that people were getting hurt and getting sick and dying. And then all of a sudden, VAERS wasn't reliable anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not. Anybody can report.
The script flipped on VAERS.
Anybody can report. Like, meanwhile, doctors constantly were saying, it takes 2 hours to file a report. And then they don't follow up. And, so many injured people, like that Maddie DeGarry, the 11-year-old girl from the Pfizer trial who is on a feeding tube to this day, her VAERS report lists her adverse reaction as like GI upset or something. Like, it's like, no, she's in a wheelchair with a feeding tube. So no, it's not, we know it's underreported, if anything, and there's tens of thousands of deaths and hundreds of thousands, millions of injuries, but safe and effective. Okay.
Yeah, safe and effective. They pulled people out of that study at the first sign of injury, I'm sure you know. So they didn't even make the stats. So they were gone from the trials before they could go through far enough to be counted in the trials because they were having difficulty in the very, very beginning, which is another little no, you're not supposed to do that.
There's so many, like Pierre in our books, he calls them never events. Those are never events. You don't do that. You don't change the goalposts in the middle of a clinical trial. You don't. This is what the trial is, right? Like, they're getting better. Let's move it out so that by this point, the differential is greater and it's not statistically significant. Like, there was so much just fraud.
It was crazy. When I was reading the other book, the War on Chlorine Dioxide, War on Chlorine Dioxide, the Drinking Bleach book.
It's not bleach.
I know, just absolutely teasing. But what I didn't know, and I didn't know a lot about chlorine dioxide until I read the book, until I heard you talking about it. I knew about ivermectin. I knew about hydroxychloroquine. I took hydroxychloroquine a couple of times when I would do trips to Africa, do sustainability trips and go over there and do our little testing and our little things. So it was an anti-malarial. So I had taken it a couple of times. And then when they were telling you not to take it because it was so dangerous for humans, I thought, wait a minute. All of sub-Saharan Africa is taking hydroxychloroquine. Yeah. I took I do this every time because I talk with my hands. I took hydroxychloroquine. I had no issues. What are you talking about? This is a dangerous medication. Well, if it was so dangerous, why did you let me take it? And before I went to Africa, why did you prescribe it to me and say, here, you need to take this?
I think it's make you take it almost.
Well, it's like this way you don't get sick, And I had my little citronella wristbands. I mean, I had everything going on so I wouldn't get bit by mosquitoes while I was over there. But I felt very comfortable. I was never questioned the hydroxy. I took it. I didn't get sick. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden it's poison. It was kind of crazy. But then the chlorine dioxide was new to me because of you and Dr. Corey. And reading the book, and I could hear your voice all through that book, by the way. Thank you for making it less dry and much more fun to read. Because it really is a fun read. It's a fun medical read. Most medical reads are not fun at all, but that was a blast. Good. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I'm almost to all of the trials, and then I'm almost finished. But it read like, Jenna, like some covert murder mystery. Like you could make it into a movie, a film, what was happening to all of these scientists and doctors who were promoting this really valuable medication, and people did not want it promoted, and they didn't want it out there, and they killed some people to keep it. And this is not a conspiracy, y'all. This is very well documented. This is not a conspiracy theorist show. I think it's important to know that people died trying to promote a life-saving medication.
Because it's very, very, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Think about it, it can treat so many things. It can treat, I'm not going to say cure or completely eradicate, but it is used successfully to treat cancer, autism, autoimmune diseases, COVID. I mean, there were countries that were doing it, like the countries that do it prophylactically for the malaria reasons and other reasons had no COVID. Like, I mean,
Was it Bulgaria? Was it Bulgaria that had
Bolivia.
no COVID? Bolivia.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. No COVID.
Yeah.
That's just kind of crazy. And it also has, topical
Yeah.
uses as well. Like you can use it on burns, you can use it on lesions, you can use it on rashes, you can use it to make your wrinkles go away. I'm excited about that one.
I use it for everything. I mean, I sip it throughout the day. Most days I have my toothpaste and my mouthwash, and it's like the perfect biocide. You do have it? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good, right? Like you feel so clean afterwards too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, NASA dubbed it the perfect antidote. The what were they? I think there were Russian scientists that were originally studying it, and all this science got completely buried and was only unearthed decades later. They called it the perfect biocide because it can target selectively. Like it's more of a sniper. It's not like a mass shooter, it's a sniper. It can just go in to just the bad cells. There's some of the most, they're working now, so it's only approved for like topical use, and in like you can buy the toothpastes and the mouthwashes and that kind of stuff. Nobody's studied it really extensively for internal use, so almost all of the data is anecdotal. But there's tens of thousands. There are in the book we listed all in the back. There's 17 different Telegram channels with chlorine dioxide testimonials, people telling exactly how they're doing it. And these aren't just people like me and you going, oh, I had a wart and I put it on it and it fell off. No, these are doctors. Like I gave it to 7 patients with cancer and now none of them have cancer, right? Like I mean, it's absolutely insane. So, think about if it really could, like there's a story in the book, I'm not sure if it was Bolivia, but I think it was, where they were using it just to treat the water, and they were testing, all the people, and they were testing them for something else, but the tests had a broad range of diseases, and people were coming in one day, they were giving them the chlorine dioxide and coming back the next day to see if this, other thing was gone, and their malaria. The miracle water, right. So the malaria, it was completely curing malaria. Completely. And so these were just like humanitarians going over there, bringing aid, trying to help these villagers. And they went all the way to like the president of the country, and they're like, look at this. This is so amazing. You're not even going to believe it. And he basically said, you have to shut this down. And he said, malaria is the population governor of this country, the population governor. We know. Yeah, because you can't afford to feed your people. It's exactly that. There will be civil war. There will be, murder and looting and rioting, and come back to me in 50 years and we'll try to build the infrastructure. But it's like, so they know, I can't, I've written so many books, I can't keep all the stats straight in my head, but it's something like 5 children out of 6 don't make it past their 2nd birthday. And they know that. Yeah, like they know that. So they're not equipped, like you said, with the infrastructures and the food and the schools and everything else that they would need. So they that's just their norm, and that they're not ready for that change. So that's the one angle where it's never going to be widely promoted. And the other is like big pharma, big medicine, like that is a trillion dollar industry in this world. Imagine if, and I'm not saying the chlorine dioxide can completely cure any cancer, right? There's a million different ways to use it. There's intratumorally, there's, internally, but let's just say for giggles that you drink this and your cancer goes away. we've got we have a whole industry for cancer, right? And you've got the oncologists and the radiologists and the chemo and radiation, and it's like, no, they don't want that to go away. Like they want patience. They don't want us to get better. They don't. That's sad and cynical and conspiratorial, but I also think it's true.
Well, and it's kind of like the glyphosate thing, right? We know glyphosate is poisonous, and yet we're not getting rid of glyphosate, because if we get rid of it in one fell swoop, it really could wipe out our food supply, because we're not ready to replace it with anything yet. So there are these decisions that you have to make that are really hard decisions. Now, I don't think it's a hard decision to say, if you've got a cure for cancer, cure freaking cancer. And I think any parent who's got a child dying of cancer would want to be able to save their child and put St. Jude out of business.
Or a friend,
I think that would be okay. Right, exactly. But there are ripple effects, and so you start to think of those. You're like, okay, so if we do this, then this happens, and then if that happens, then this happens. So we have to look at the big picture. But I to withhold from the United States of America, the richest planet on the country, we're not. People will find other jobs if cancer goes away.
Right.
People will get sick in other ways. I mean, there'll be, they'll fall down, they'll break their legs. Things, they'll live longer, they'll have more injuries. I mean, the medical establishment will still be needed.
It's mostly pharma. It really is mostly pharma, because they sell all the drugs and the machines and and it's like, so what if you just turned to med beds and hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and you could still charge people for it, right? But they wouldn't be desperate for it and dying and willing to do, take your poison. It's like,
or lose their homes trying to pay for it.
Yeah. Something that's just going to kill them a little bit more quickly. Like that. I mean, really, like the whole chemotherapy and radiation, when I'd be doing ivermectin and Fenbin. That's me. That's my protocol.
And what is it? The hypothermia? What's the one where you heat the blood? Hypo, right? Hypothermia? Hyper. The one where you heat that one's supposed to be a really good one too.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, that's an old one. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, see? Well,
and they take your blood out of your body, and then they run it through this high heat, and it kills off a lot of those white blood cells, and then they put it back in. This is a whole thing.
No?
I was researching that way before ivermectin hit the scene. This was back in the early 2000s, because I have family members with breast cancer, and I was like, well, if I ever get breast cancer, I'm not doing that chemo thing. I'm doing this thing instead. Because it gets scary. It gets really scary out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you, who do you trust, right? Like, who do you trust? I wrote something recently about, we kind of traded in big pharma for big wellness. And now everybody's on all of these, and I am as guilty as the next person. Like, I do my chlorine dioxide, and I have my grounding sheets, and there's a protocol for something for everything. I've got drawers full of vitamins and supplements, and it's like, what was this one for? Memory? I don't even remember. But it's always like, oh, I need to be taking that. So, you see some influencer talking about how this changed my life, and I went down the whole parasite cleanse route and ordered all that stuff, and it's just, there's always going to be something, and it's hard to know who to trust. It's just hard to know who to trust. I think you got to trust your gut at some point.
What is the grounding film? Grounding what?
Grounding sheets.
Grounding sheets.
Grounding. So grounding is the ancient practice of literally putting your feet on earth, and how your body
literal grounding,
electoral,
touch grass,
touch grass, right?
Yeah.
But they actually make sheets that are woven with these silver threads, and it's supposed to do the same thing while you're sleeping. It's supposed to help with pain and inflammation and all these things. And I didn't notice anything. I bought them when I had frozen shoulder in both shoulders. I don't know if you know what that is, but it is.
No, but it sounds horrible.
It happens to women in their 50s. It's a postmenopausal thing. It's, you wake up one day, it's capsular contraction is what it is. This whole thing just freezes. And when I tell you, I couldn't hook my own bra. I couldn't shampoo this is as far as so I could go like this. I mean, and it lasts for years. Years. It's not like no, it's like
no.
18 months to 3 years. It generally thaws on its own. It's absolutely brutal. It's almost unheard of to have it in two shoulders at the same time. I had it in one. I did physical therapy. I did prolotherapy. I bought the stupid shoulder. I forget what it's called. I would cry every single day doing these exercises because it hurt so bad. I finally went and just said, suck it up. I'm going to go get cortisone injections. And for 6 blissful hours, I had no pain, and then it was the lidocaine, and when the lidocaine wore off, and so now I have, steroids floating in my body, but it did absolutely nothing, and it was like, you just have to, suck it up. It was like better enough to where I could do this, and I'm not even kidding you. You just wake up with it. I wake up at it, and it's in this arm now, and I couldn't work out. I literally couldn't do anything. I mean, even just like a sudden motion, like something's falling off the counter and you reach for it. It's a full body electric shock of pain that is absolute. It's like a labor contraction. It's indescribable. Ask anybody who's had frozen shoulder. It's the worst thing you could ever imagine. DMSO. I'm researching the War on Chlorine Dioxide book, and I'm reading.
I have that. I've used it. I like it.
Within a week, both shoulders, I was doing this. I was like, you are kidding me. I'm not kidding you, thousands of dollars, thousands. I was doing this awful physical therapy where it was $250 an hour or a session. And I was like, I couldn't afford that. But I was like, I'm in so much pain. There's nothing that matters more than this. Like, I can't live like this. I was getting depressed because I couldn't exercise, and I'm a 7-day-a-week exerciser, and go for my stupid walk, and even that if I like turned the wrong way. Anyways, a week of DMSO, which I now have like 7 bottles because I will never not have that stuff either. They're not going to tell you about that. They're not going to tell you about that because they can charge $250 an hour, right? It's like,
do all this to you. Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I had surgery on my finger not long ago. I'm still healing. I've still got some inflammation, but I don't have any pain. But I did have some pain for, several days. And I was like, let me just give that DMSO a try. I've had it in the house forever, just in case, but never, ever used it. Oh. So I just took my little cotton ball, and because you can't really get a lot of dosing information on that stuff. So went to Midwestern doctor, looked up a few things, and put a couple of drops in there.
My hand now. I had a little dropper at first, and I was mixing it with like hexane-free castor oil and the whole thing. Oh. And it's like, I literally just pour it in and slap.
Pour it on.
Yeah, if something hurts, I'm like, just get it on. You do have to put it on clean skin if anybody's listening and you haven't done it. Yeah. And you get DMSO on Amazon. Like you can
dab it on my little finger, and just a little cotton ball and a little DMSO diluted with a little bit of water, and I tell you what, just like that,
it's crazy.
Felt so much better. Didn't have to take any Tylenol or Advil or any of those other things that'll kill you.
Yep.
Like everything will kill you now. It's terrible, but no, it is funny because I do take a lot of supplements. I've been taking a spike detox since the beginning of time, I think, because it seems like every time I turn around, somebody around me is getting the flu vaccine, or they're getting the COVID vaccine, or they're getting the something, and they said it's okay, they don't shed, and they're like, oh, never mind, oops, we were wrong, it does shed. Like, I know it sheds. Do you know how I know it sheds? I will tell you how I know it sheds, because my stepdaughter got invited on a trip in high school to the Dry Tortugas, which is out of the country, right? So she had to have a passport. She had a vaccination to go. She had to have a vaccination to go. And I told her absolutely not. She was in high school. There are going to be a lot of trips. You can go on trips your whole life. You're going to sit this one out because I don't want you to get that vaccine. Well, that little pumpkin convinced her father to let her get that vaccine behind my back. So they got that vaccine. I am a postmenopausal woman. I have not had a period in 100 years because I had, this is like maybe a little TMI for some of you people, but I had a progesterone release IUD. So I hadn't had a period like since my early 30s. And now I'm postmenopausal. So I have not had anything going on in my body. Suddenly, I have a period. I have a not like a little baby period. I'm talking a full blown period.
Wow.
Yes, I am bleeding. I had to go up and get her stuff because I don't have stuff anymore.
Yeah, no, years.
I'm postmenopausal. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, did you get vaccinated? Sure enough, yep, she did. And then she had to go for her second one in order to get her little passport up to date, so that her vaccine passport, so she could travel. She gets the second one a few months later. And what happens to me that time?
Same thing.
Same thing. So
PR Dr. Corey did a whole thing on shedding.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. So it sheds, sheds. And everybody was telling me it doesn't shed. It had to be something else. So I'm like, it's 2 for 2 in this house. That's pretty good odds. So I know this thing sheds, and then later it comes out. Of course it does. It sheds. So I have been taking this spike detox ever since then. I'm like, I just can't have anybody's stuff on me. It just makes me so nervous because where I live, right. And everybody gets to make their own decisions. If you want to go out and get vaccinated, that's absolutely your choice, your decision. I'm not going to get in your way. I'll just tell you my personal experience, how I feel about it, like you do. But I don't want to make myself sick because you have made a choice in your life. So I just take my little spike detox every single day.
Is it from the wellness company, that one?
It isn't, but it's very close. It's Tri Support. I bought it before they came out with theirs.
Okay.
I
mean, I don't care. I'm not affiliated. I was just curious. I don't know that, but I'm not really ever around it.
It's got pretty much the same ingredients.
Yeah.
It's because I've checked. Yeah.
Cool.
I've checked all those things, but yeah, every day I've been for years, like since whenever that was, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is crazy, but we all came through it. Most of us came through it okay. I mean, some people didn't. Some people lost their lives. Some people got sick forever. Some people are on ventilators and wheelchairs. But we do the best we can with the information that we have.
Yeah.
But I think when people started wishing me dead and in a concentration camp and that kind of thing, that was hurtful.
That was so scary. I mean,
that was hurtful.
And again, it's just sad that there wasn't any effort to, bring people together, find that commonality, and I mean, for me,
but Jenna, I think that was by design. I think you had it right when you said that you weren't sure whether or not it was meant to be divisive or not. I think it absolutely was, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have closed churches. They wouldn't have closed bars. They wouldn't have closed the places where people come together and congregate and share ideas. And those are the 2 big places where people share ideas: church and bars.
Yeah.
A glass of wine and a Bible, and everybody's talking. So they close those things down. So I think it was by design, and it's so sad to me, which is one of the reasons I started this podcast, because I was so tired of people yelling at each other and doing that keyboard couching that you were talking about before, and just being so ugly and so mean. It's like, could you just have a conversation?
Right.
Just talk to somebody. You don't have to agree, but you can be human beings with each other and see where you're coming from. I just don't think it's that hard.
No, I know. And that is like one of the sad things about the social media. My husband says it all the time. He hates social media. He's like, that's going to be the downfall of society. And I used to be like, oh my God, like, stop being a grumpy old man. It might actually be, people can write the most horrific things. And like, did nobody ever teach you, if you wouldn't say that to somebody's face, why on God's green earth would you put it out there for the whole world to see with your name attached to it, And like, I've had people, my whole thing was, when I started my Substack, I'm not blocking anybody. And like I said, I will pin the ugly comments. Well, I've had a few people go on rants, and like I said, you can call me a hussy whore. I don't care. I can handle it. But if they're calling you that, I'm going to delete that comment. I've had paid subscribers say to me, write me the really nice note. It happened one time, not subscribers. I will say it happened one time, but a long time. One of my earliest paid subscribers wrote to me and said, I just wanted to tell you personally, I canceled my paid subscription today. Your Substack was like my solace. It was my happy place. And it was so respectful. And like, some of the comments are just, I find myself getting so upset, and it's just not good for my mental health. And I was like, okay, so now these bots, half of them I think are bots. I really do. I don't think they're people. Because if you click on their thing and you go, sometimes it's like they're following one person, me. They've been a subscriber since yesterday. And all they've done is, 77 comments about how much they hate me. Okay. So, I'll block that person. And again, to protect my other people, not just because of my paid subscribers, but I am really proud of the community that I've built. And it is 99.8% of the time lovely and warm and supportive. And even when people disagree, I've got my V who,
we love you.
We love you.
We love you so much.
He always comes up.
I love him.
He disagrees, and it's always "Have a great Friday, everybody."
But he's always very respectful about it, and he's always very kind, and he's always very sweet. And there's sometimes I agree with him, and sometimes I disagree with him, and we have conversation.
Right.
We don't have we'll have constructive debate. We don't have like, oh, you're a horrible person. And there's none of that. There's no name calling. There's no ridiculousness. He's awesome.
And he's a perfect example of. We fundamentally disagree on major issues, but we both want the same thing. We both value the same things, right? We value our freedom. We value, our bodily autonomy and all those things. So like, why can't that be more important than, you think we're a uniparty and that, Trump was part of the cabal. Who cares? Like, if you think that, that's great. I don't. It doesn't mean, what the thing that always gets to me is the people that come and they are like, you're so dumb. It's obviously this and period, end of story. And you're wrong. And I'm always like, I'm not 100% anything. I'm not. I always will admit I could be wrong. This is what I think. I can't pretend to think something that I don't, right? This is what I think. Here's how I rationalize it. I could be wrong. Like so many people cannot say that at all. They're like, nope, you're so dumb. This is what happened. Trump got played or, this, that, and the, whatever the thing is. It's like, you don't know that. Like nobody knows that. You think that really passionately and that's fine. But if you can't acknowledge that there's a possibility that you might not know the entire situation, then I don't even want to have a conversation with you.
Well, and we can never know. I mean, nobody ever knows. No. You can never know, but you can have opinion. You can have a valid opinion. You can have a well-researched opinion, but in the end, it's all opinion until it's proven to be fact. And then you're like, and sometimes you're making me thirsty now, but
I'm sorry.
I just have a drink with like I have my logo.
Oh, that's so cute.
I ordered 2 and one of them came crushed, so I have to call the company and have them send me another one.
That's really cute. That's a great idea.
Sometimes I have people in here in person, so I wanted to have 2 glasses.
Oh,
but now I only have 1.
Yeah, you need a couple. Okay. You're going to need a couple. Order a 6-pack. Splurge.
I need a couple. So Dr. Drew, he's part of that alliance, isn't he? Part of the medical alliance you were talking about? Is he part of that or not?
No, not the FLCCC.
No. Not the okay, he's part of a different one.
The FLCCC is now the IMA, and it's like Dr. Ryan Cole and Paul Merrick. Pierre kind of stepped down. He's like a consultant for them now. He's all off in a million other directions. But they're great. I still write a column for them. They're awesome.
That's good. We depended on them heavily in the beginning of the pandemic. We did. We're at the website a lot of times. But I think, I agree with you. I think most decent people, not the trolls on your site, but
there's only 2 of them.
I would say there are very few of them. Most of the people on your site are lovely. Love. They're just lovely. And that's why I have 2 favorite publications, as you know, and you are one of them. So. That I read. My morning is not complete unless, and sometimes I have to wait because the other guy's late sometimes.
Yeah, you have children, I assume you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, and I have to get on with my day, and then I have to visit him later because I can't sit all day and wait.
And he writes War and Peace every darn day. I mean, literally, he's got to have a team. Like, that my Substack is a full-time job.
Yep.
And there are some nights, hand on my heart, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm still working on that one post that is a quarter of the length of his. I mean, but I don't have a research assistant. I don't have an editor. It's just me. And I'm
when he was on Jeff Rowan, he was on somebody's podcast recently and he was talking about that. And then they asked the question that you and I had asked when we talked several weeks ago. It's like, how does he do this? I mean, you have to spend hours and hours. Well, his law practice is basically run by others. So he's at a point in his practice where he's not often there. So he spends the most of his time on the Substack, if that makes you feel any
He
better.
still has to have help. There's no way.
So much.
So my day, I get up at like 4:30 or 5. I work out. I come back. I'm at my desk by 8. I do, and so 8 to 11 or 12 most days is picking a topic, right? And I have to read everything. I read the New York Times, the Washington Post. I'm on X. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Like, just what are people talking about? What's trending? What's the story? I'm on AP and Reuters. And so what are the things? And then I have to go, okay, here are the 10 things that are happening. What's one that I have an interesting take on? Like, what would my take be on that? There's so much, even just thinking about it. Like, I don't know. I literally don't know how he does it. And when I tell you, I've been a writer professionally for 30 years. I don't know anybody who writes as fast as I do. Like, I write a book like this in 2.5 to 3 months. Most people, 18 months is how long a publisher gives you when you have a publishing deal. Like, I've written entire novels in 10 weeks. So it's not that I'm not a fast writer, but it's like all the, like when I put 40 links in every Substack, I read every one of those articles, right? I have to go, is this relevant? And I have to read 10 to find the one that is the best example of what I'm trying to say in that link. Like, he has to have a team. He does. He has to have research assistants or people pulling that kind of stuff, because I just don't think that's humanly possible. But
do you hear that, Jeff Childers? You need to come and talk to us. You need to come on. We'll have a 3-way call. We can talk about how you make this happen, because we are very curious.
And if he says, no, I just do it, I'm just that good, then I'm going to crawl back into my fetal position and cry. Because I really do think that I'm like, this isn't a side job for me. Like, that's not even his main thing.
Yeah.
He's not a writer. Like, what? This is like my career, my entire profession, and he's better at it than me. But that's
I wouldn't say better. I would say different. I mean, you guys have your stuff is very original. Like, you take a topic and then you write a full on original piece. Where he takes, and I'm not dissing him or disrespecting, because I read it all the time.
Yeah.
But he takes and summarizes what's happening in the news and then gives his analysis of it.
Yeah.
So he's got much smaller chunks. You've got one big chunk that you turn into one full-blown creative essay, which is a feat. And he takes summaries of articles and analyzes those articles and throws in his humor and connects his dots. So it's very different. It's two different platforms with two different purposes.
No, he's great. I want to be like one of his guest post writers. Like, he is the person that I get compared to. Mm-hmm. There's not another Substacker that people are like, oh my gosh, you and blank. It's always you and Jeff Childers. Always you and Jeff Childers. So.
Well, and almost everybody on your site reads him. So it's so funny when I see, because I'll see them there and then I'll see them there, and then they'll post about something they read there, or they'll be over there and post about something they read. And we do it all the time. Like, well, did you see Jenna's this morning?
Yeah, drop my name on his.
I do all the time. And then I link to you, and then people, they will pop over and join, because then I'll get a little note that, hey, somebody, I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad
he's name dropped me a few times, my stack, and said a lot of people told me to read this and it's great. And so and then I'll get a couple hundred new subs. Like, that's really nice. Yeah. It's really nice just to know that I'm on his radar.
No, you are. And I think he really appreciates you, because he always has. When he talks, he has kind things. And he doesn't talk about a lot of other subs at all, ever.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't. But
that's cool.
He likes you.
Yay.
So it's a good thing. Oh my gosh. So this book, you can get it on Amazon.
No,
the War on Chlorine docs. No, you can't. You have to order it direct, because you cannot get it. You know how I know? Because I wanted to listen to it. I had to drive to Denver the other day, and I thought, oh, this is great. I can listen to her book on the way down, and I can listen to it on the way home, and I'll be all finished with it by the time I talk to her. Oh. And it wasn't. I couldn't get an audio book. I couldn't get Audible.
So let me tell you something I'm not affiliated with, but this is the best app I've ever. Do you know about Speechify?
Speechify. I think a long time. My daughter's dyslexic, so I think I knew about that a long time ago. But tell me more.
It's just an app. It's you do have to pay for it. It's like, I think it's $120 for the year if you pay for the whole year, and if not, it's like $20 a month. So it's a lot. Mm-hmm. You have to be using it a lot. But when I'm working out, I'm listening to news. But it will read, and you can pick your voice. I have Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan, but I like her voice. You can pick your voice. And you can say, read me my last 3 emails. You can, any link You pop it in, it'll read. You can, if you have a PDF on your phone, so like I could have sent you the PDF of the war on chlorine dioxide and you could have had it read it.
Listen to it.
You can change the speed. Like it's a game changer. It's an
Speechify.
absolute Speechify. Yeah. And there's a 7-day free thing. I did the 7-day free thing. I wound up paying for it within like 3 hours. Like I was like, oh, I'm definitely using this. I'm using this forever. This is the best thing I've ever done. If you're like I told you, I'm a neat freak. I'm going to get up and I'm going to be Swiffering my house as soon as we're off the phone. And I just always have that app up. And I'm like, what was I listening to? Just hit play, put in my, my wired earphones because I don't do wireless anything. And then it just reads it to me. It's great. You can, and it highlights it. Like if you wanted to be looking at it, it'll highlight it so you can take screenshots if I want to put something in my stack. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know why we got off on that tangent, but yeah, you can only buy this.
I wanted to listen to your book and I could not.
War on Chlorine Dioxide. Is it War on the War? Yeah, I don't even know. Isn't that sad? It's War on Chlorine Dioxide.com. I thought it would be in here, but yeah, because Amazon would take it down. They've if you got to the section on like Andreas Kalker and Carrie Rivera and all the people, like you put out a book like this and Stripe will shut down my payment for my Substack. Like it's crazy. Like people have had every single payment platform shut down, every single sales, and like I have 23 other books that aren't I have adult as in grown up, not porn, but like adult novels. I have middle grade fiction. I have children's picture books, but they would shut down Jenna McCarthy. And then you couldn't buy any of my books that are available on Amazon because those would all go away. So we sell it directly. Takes a little bit longer. The shipping's a little bit more expensive. We're not Amazon. We don't have drones. We don't have our own trucks. But you're not feeding Jeff Bezos' yacht fund. So there's that.
You mean I don't have to watch his girlfriend go up in space or anything like that? I don't have to do that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. One of my followers, and I have this many. So one of my this many followers wanted me to ask you when you were going to write another children's book because she has kids and she really likes your books.
Oh, I have probably 14 manuscripts, 80 to 90% done. I have children's books. I've made myself my promise when COVID hit. I was working on my next novel. It's called The Thing About Grace. It's one of my favorite things I've ever written, and it's not quite done. And I got completely sidetracked. And that's my first. I need to get that out in the world. And then it's like organizing your photos into albums. I'm going to do that when I get less busy. I'm never going to get less busy. I am so obsessed with this work that I'm doing right now. I told you, I used to do these marriage talks. Hand to heart, 3 offers within the last 30 days to do these talks that I make a lot of money doing them, a lot. And I turned all 3 down because I was like, that's not where my heart is right now. It's not. I would have to be, like writing the drafts and practicing it and doing all the research, and I can barely keep up with my one little Substack and my monthly column for the IMA. So this is what I fully truly believe is my purpose in this life. I love entertaining people. I love getting up on stage. It's super fun. And the funny thing is I said no the day, and I can show you the emails with the timestamps. The day I said no to the 3rd one, I got asked to be the MC for a medical freedom conference in South Carolina next month. And then like within a week, I got asked to be the featured speaker at a Brownstone Supper Club. So
you talked about that one. I remember that one. Yeah.
It's like,
that's super exciting.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I could talk about marriage all day long and it's fun, but it's like, this is my passion. This is where my heart is. The Substack is everything to me. It's everything. It's my income. It's my joy. It's like, so that's where I'm focusing my energy now.
Well, I hope you're getting enough subscribers that can float you so you don't go away.
Yeah.
No. And so if I doubt anyone's going to watch this that doesn't already subscribe to you, but maybe a few. We do have a few people that tune in. But if you don't, you really need to check out Jenna's Substack. It's Genocide, not genocide like you're killing people.
Yes.
but Jenna's apostrophe S side.
Dot rocks. If you can go right there, you don't type in the HTTP. It's Jenna's side with 2 S's, no apostrophe, dot rocks, and it'll take you right there.
Dot rocks.
Yeah.
And it's free. If she writes 5 days a week and 4 days a week, it's free. And 1 day a week, it's for paid people. And so you get 4 out of 5 days for free, which is pretty awesome. And I love that model. I wish more people did that. But because there are a lot of people that like to read.
Supported me like you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But it is nice because there's so many out there, and maybe Substack will come up with something where you can say, "I'm going to pay this much to subscribe to 5 different subs,"
right?
Something like that. Because there's so many
talked about that, like pooling,
that I would like to support, but I can't.
I know. I mean, I
support it. I can't. I just can't. I got to pick my faves. I have 3 people that I pay for, 3, and that's because I think they're doing really important work, and 2 of them make me laugh in the process.
I'm one of them. You
are.
Only right there.
Only one does not make me laugh. He is very serious and very academic, but he's also very, very bright and doing really important work. So I pay for him.
You're awesome. Well, I really appreciate you wanting to chat with me. This was fun.
Well, I'm glad you did. Can I ask you just a real quick, if I can find speed round questions, and then I'll let you go to your life and Swifter your floor and take care of your cats. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not marriage, though. We're zipping back to marriage. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Soulmate, myth or true?
Myth.
Good. Okay. Is it always a good thing to not go to bed angry?
I go to bed angry all the time.
There you go. Do opposites attract?
100%.
Okay. Happy wife, happy life?
100%.
Communication solves everything.
She needs to make herself happy.
Oh, there you go. That's a good point. Communication solves everything.
It doesn't solve everything, but I don't think you can solve anything without it.
Very good. Okay, last one. This is the big one. Are you ready? If aliens came to Earth tomorrow, what about marriage would confuse them?
The marriage part, the living together part. Like, you're just going to pick one person and you're going to trap them in a box together, and nobody else can come into that box, and you're gonna like make all these decisions about every single thing in your life that you actually used to make on your own, but now you have to like ask that person, and they might not agree with you. Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah. Okay. Little gray men, the gray men. Hopefully we won't have to deal with the gray men anytime soon. But Jenna, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm so glad that technology worked today.
I know. It was awesome.
And I love watching your cat watch back and forth.
That's the second one. There's 3. I'm the cat lady.
Well, I will let you know when this drops. I'm going to try to drop it next week. I'm usually pretty good about dropping on Wednesdays after I edit and play and all that good stuff. Genocide.rocks. Find her, not genocide. Jenna's. So every time I say that, people are like, genocide? I'm like, no. Jenna's side. The war on ivermectin, the war on chlorine dioxide. I always say that wrong. Chlorine dioxide, and a bunch of other books, and lots of laughs about marriage and family. And I will see you on your Substack in the morning.
Yes, you will. I'll be there. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.